Rimuru goes to Naruto Verse by manga-nirvana Forest of Death ch. 10. The next day. Third-person POV, in front of a forest of death. Anko briefs the candidates on their objectives for the second portion of the chunin exams. The test is structured such that at least half the teams will be eliminated. Before entering the forest of death, all teams will be given either a heaven or an earth scroll. Once inside the forest, the genin must take the other scroll from another team. Only those who make it to the tower in the center of the forest with both scrolls will advance to the next stage of the exams. Anko hands out the scrolls and opens the forest gates. Rimuru. Okay, so first let's go deep inside the forest. Velzard. Yes, I don't want to waste time here. Velgrand. Hey Rimuru, are you serious about going to the guy's place? We can do whatever we want. Rimuru. Yes, Ranga, and I am going to see what the heck guy is doing, and maybe even punch some sense into him. Seal. Well, it seems to me that guy wants to impress the members of Akatsuki. Rimuru. Why, what does he want to do with them? Velgrand. Oh, I see why he is doing this. Hey Rimuru, do you remember one of your world's manga called One Piece or something? I think he wants to take them along to that world. Velzard. Oh, I see what he is doing with Veldora and the other demon lord now, when you were gone. Rimuru. So basically they thought they could have a vacation on Sea Planet. Wait, is that why there is a goddamn volcano here? He was planning to build that ship here. Seal. That's a great idea. You also wanted to enjoy a sea trip, right, master? Author. Yup, come on Rimuru, you have destroyed One Verse timeline. What will be the worst thing that could happen if Milam destroys One Piece in anger? Seal. Agreed. We might need to restrain their power even further if they go there. Rimuru. Okay, we are going there if you all insist on a vacation. But let me put some stop to our rampaging morons. Rimuru then enters the void and gives control over his body to Seal, who was really happy to take control over it, as now she can modify her master's body and do a test drive on it. Seal. So master had a plan, do you want to hear it, guys? Velzard, who was focused on movements of every ninja that entered the forest of death, looks at Seal like a curious teen who is going to get a new toy to play with. Velgrand. So what is the big plan? Seal. I will handle the heaven scroll and go near the tower. You two can do whatever you want to for 3 days straight, but return with the earth scroll. And don't kill unless the other party tries to do it first. Seal. Removing Seal current EP is 500,000. Feeling the rise in their power, the two true dragons started to release so much of their aura around the entire forest of death. Author. New name for a forest of death, now it shall be known as the forest of horror, as the small animals inside the forest are now dead. Soon after, Team 8 searches for a scroll and manages to take an Omegacure team's scroll after trapping them. Elsewhere, Team 7 is tracked by a disguised AIM ninja. After few minutes, Naruto had to pee and Sakura hit him and asked him to pee in a bush like a decent human being. When he comes out, Sasuke sees him get into a fighting position and charges at Naruto. Sasuke. Who are you? Sasuke starts hitting the ninja and explains to Sakura that this person is not Naruto because Naruto has a scar on his cheek and Naruto will never remember the code in his life. With his identity being compromised, the AIM ninja ditches his disguise and fights Sasuke, who defeats him while spotting the real Naruto. Sasuke then frees him from the bond after he beats the AIM nin. Sasuke tells the others that Team 7 needs a password, although the one he chooses is too long. Naruto struggles to remember it before a powerful gust of wind separates him from his team. Just as he reorients himself, Naruto finds himself swallowed by a giant snake. When Sasuke and Sakura later meet up with who they thought was Naruto, Sasuke suspects something is wrong when Naruto repeats the password word for word. Sasuke explains that the real Naruto would not have recited such a difficult password, hence why he chose a lengthy one, and the imposter is revealed to be the Kusagakure ninja Shior, Orochimaru. Swallowing his scroll, Shior paralyzes Sasuke and Sakura with visions of the snake. Sasuke succeeds in regaining his composure and getting himself and Sakura away from Shior. Meanwhile, Naruto uses his less than shadow clone technique greater than to burst out of the snake. Velvrand. That's an interesting technique. Velzard. So should we also use it and find interesting people to play with? Who know, we might find new cool ability just lying around. The two proceeded to use shadow clones and were ready to move, but a kuni came their way. Velzard caught it and threw it back with double the force, which destroyed a few trees with a sheer force of kuni's speed. Not giving time for their attacker, Velgrand moved toward bushes and found some paper bombs which exploded. Velzard started laughing at her sister's stupidity. This seriously pissed Velgrand. So she used her fire style and burned the part of the forest which caused the death of 3 genin from the land of iron. Let praise for the dead genin to find peace. Back to Team 7. Once freed, Naruto quickly comes to his friend's aid as Shior corners Sasuke and Sakura. Despite Naruto's timely appearance, Sasuke decides to relinquish their scroll to Shior to ensure their team's survival. However, Naruto stops Sasuke and punches him in the face. Refusing to accept Sasuke's mindset, Naruto takes the scroll from him. Naruto begins fighting Shior and his snakes, although he is easily beaten and injured. After a few seconds of back and forth between the two, at some point, Naruto got close to being devoured by the snake, but in mid-battle, Naruto tapped into the Nine Tails chakra and hit the snake down with one punch. Shore manages to use the snake to toss Naruto into a tree and then uses the snake to attack Sasuke, only for Naruto to rush in and save him, asking him if he is okay and calling him a baby, echoing the same words Sasuke told him after their battle against the Demon Brothers. The Shior, recognizing Naruto as the Nine Tails container, and proceeds to use a seal to block Naruto's access to the fox's chakra, rendering him unconscious. Meanwhile, Velgrand and Velzard sense a strong chakra near Team 7, and decided to see what was going on. They found Orochimaru, who is kicking ass off Team 7. Velzard. Should we help them? Velgrand. Only if they are on the verge of death. Let them face true nature of this world. Shior throws him to the ground, but Sakura saves him. She then yells at a still Sasuke about how he shouldn't be a coward. Her words remind Sasuke of his brother, and it rejuvenates Sasuke with determination as he prepares to battle the Kusa shinobi. Meanwhile, Anko finds the real Shior and his team, dead and faceless, and recognizes it to be the work of someone she knows, aka Orochimaru. Sasuke and Shior engage in combat. After a long and difficult battle, Sasuke seemingly ends the battle with his less than fire release. Dragon fire technique greater than to incinerate Shior. However, the shinobi survives with his face partially melted off, revealing another face underneath. The shinobi reveals himself to be Orochimaru and then extends his neck, bites Sasuke, and leaves behind a cursed seal. Wishing Sasuke luck in surviving, he leaves. Seal. Looks like I need to report this to Lord Third. She uses Ranga to tell him to search for Hiruzen and give him this scroll, and warns Lord Third. Velgrand. Hey, what are you doing here? Seal and hear the Earth Scroll. Velzard. Let go and heal Team 7. Elsewhere, Anko finds Orochimaru and attacks him, intent on killing her former sensei for his crimes, even at the potential cost of her own life, although she fails and Orochimaru escapes. While hiding under a tree, Sakura tends to Sasuke and Naruto's wounds, even though severely sleep-deprived. Alerted from a daze by a squirrel, Sakura quickly wards it off with a kunai, ignorant to the fact that Team Dosu had sent the squirrel there with an explosive tag on its back. While en route to find a second scroll, Rock Lee stops on a branch, and sets himself the task of catching all the leaves that had fallen, believing that if he did, Sakura would fall in love with him. After catching 19 of the 20 leaves, he spots a squirrel with an explosive tag on its back and saves it before destroying the explosive tag. Velgrand. Now that is a good ability. He is trying to impress her, unlike certain. Dosu and his squad challenge Sasuke, but Sakura, prepared to defend her comrades, she sets up several traps at the enemy shinobi. Unfortunately, Dosu manages to destroy the trap with ease, and shortly after that makes a remark about how Sakura has no right to be a ninja. Just before Dosu's team could land their attack, however, Rock Lee shows up and knocks the 3 of them away. Declaring as he made his entrance that he would protect Sakura until he dies, Lee uses his brute strength to pull up an underground route to block an incoming attack by Dosu. As the battle ensued, Lee prepared to use the front lotus after deeming that it met the criteria that his teacher, Might Guy, told him had to be met to use it, to protect the people most precious to him. Lee is then able to catch Dosu and use the technique, but the force of impact is cushioned by Zaku, and Dosu is saved. Unable to move as his body is recuperating from the strain of using the front lotus, Dosu incapacitates Lee with his own technique, which he claims is faster than Lee's taijutsu since it works at the speed of sound. With Rock Lee unconscious, Sakura has to defend herself and her teammates. Sakura then remembers how Rimuru told her that she could become a strong ninja like him if she tried. Then thinking of Rimuru tactics, he uses a shadow clone and uses it on Team Dosu. But she was easily cornered by the team. So as a final attempt to save her team, she uses all the paper bombs and tries to run away with her team and Lee. But one of the genin named Zaku caught her and punched her in the head, causing her to lose grip of Naruto. Unknown to Sakura, Team 10 is watching from a distance while Ino remembers their childhood memories. Team 10 runs to Sakura's aid before Zaku can kill her. Ino states that she promised never to let Sakura show her up. Team 10 battles Team Dosu, and Ino Yamanaka possesses Kin, another member of Dosu, rendering both of them unable to fight. However, the Auto Genin still manages to hold its own. Just as Rock Lee's teammates appear to join the fight, Sasuke awakens, the cursed seal of heaven given to him by Orochimaru engulfing his body. Noticing Sakura's wounds, Sasuke begins attacking Zaku in retaliation, eventually dislocating both of his arms. As Sasuke turns his attention to the final Auto Genin, Dosu Kinuda, Sakura thinks to herself that this is not the real Sasuke and that he is somehow possessed. She then runs to him and embraces him while begging him to stop. Sasuke's cursed seal disappears and he falls to the ground. Dosu admits Sasuke's strength, leaves their scroll, and retreats while carrying his teammates, vowing to not run away the next time they meet. As Team 7, Team 10, and Team Guy recover, Velgrand and Velzard appear in front of them. Shikamaru, Sakura, Ino, Choji, Tenten, and Neji were shocked to see two beauties standing in front of a cave where they were resting. They couldn't even sense their chakra. One of them had long royal blue hair and the other had light blue hair. They both looked at least 12 years old, but their body curves said otherwise. Velzard. Hello there. How are you all doing today? Oh my, we haven't formally introduced ourselves. My name is Velzard Uzumaki and she is my little sister Velgrand Uzumaki. If you were wondering, then we are members of Team Rimuru. But the teams didn't even respond as they were too busy admiring the beauty and god-like voice of the girls in front of them. Neji was so shocked that a person like them could exist. Even though they can tell by looking that they are in danger, the two in front of them are far too strong to be heard. Velgrand. Hey, we are talking to you. Why are you having a nosebleed and closing your mouth? You goddamn perverted mongrel. As she was going to speak further, insult the morons, Seal entered the cave and looked at the current situation. Sakura. Rimuru, thank God you here. Can you help Sasuke and Naruto? Seal. Team 7, Team Guy, Team 10, listen carefully. There is a ninja named Orochimaru who has entered into the Forest of Death. He is a very strong and dangerous criminal, so avoid coming in contact with him. And if you find him, just run. Are you listening? Seal continues. And what happened to Sasuke, Naruto and Lee? Velgrand. Oh, your warning came late. Rimuru, Sasuke, and Naruto fought Orochimaru and got their asses handed to him. Velzard continues. And as for that Lee, he saved Sakura from Team Dosu. He even tries to impress her with his weird tricks, but it seems he lost focus and his trick backfired on him, as you can see. Seal moves to the injured side and checks on their condition because that is how her master will behave in these situations. Author. And the Beat Actor Award goes to Seal Tempest. Rimuru. Oh shit. Hey, Sakura tells me what exactly happened when Naruto and Sasuke fight Orochimaru in detail. Don't skip any part. Because Lord 3 has given me an order to keep track of him so he won't cause a major incident that might cause a war. Sakura understands the gravity of situation, explains everything to others. And it was finally decided that they would go to the tower as soon as possible so they wouldn't face Orochimaru and get killed because of their stupidity as Naruto did. Meanwhile, Velzard and Velgrand clones killed almost 10 genin teams, leaving their scroll behind. So others could find them and go to the tower in the middle of a forest of death. Clone Velgrand. Orochimaru, your timing can't be more perfect. Now we can take our new body to a test drive. Though their method was quite extreme, like ripping their heads off, busting them from the inside, or putting them in flames. Since Orochimaru is here, no one will know who killed these genin. After they were satisfied, they finally decided to go back to the real body, but I style. So they pushed themselves to the limit by fighting the Velzard clone. Author note. If anyone want to see their fight, please tell me, I will write it inside story part. Back to our main characters. Velzard and Velgrand got all the info from their clones and how they fought like mad giant alphas for territory, which might have provoked some of the animals living in the forest. Somewhat like Godzilla vs. Kong, where Kong was Velgrand. Rimuru, Seal acting like her master, on the other hand, goes into full god mode, and heal Naruto, Sasuke, and Lee back to health. While he was healing them, Shikamaru, Ino and Tenten tried to become friends with Velzard and Velgrand. Shikamaru. Hey Rimuru, I heard from Asuma-sensei that you were really strong, but how exactly did you get the information about Orochimaru? Rimuru. Oh, I used Ranga. Summons Ranga to his side. Ino and Tenten. Wow, it's so cute and fluffy, continue to play with Ranga. While Sakura was by Sasuke's side like a puppy. While it seems Ino also has a crush on Sasuke, and who is now lusting over Rimuru's looks. Shikamaru. So what kind of natural chakra do you two use? Velgrand. Mine is fire and wind, and for Velzard, she can use ice, water, and wind. Tenten. Wow, you are really strong and beautiful. Do you two have a boyfriend? Upon hearing the words from the Tenten team, Rimuru became a tomato out of anger or embarrassment, but they did respond to her in a very professional manner. They ignore the existence of Tenten. Author. So that's why Tenten didn't get screen time, because even the cameraman ignored her existence. After healing the 3 injured people, Seal joined the others, and after spending a few minutes with them chatting, they decided to take leave first, as they had to find other genins from Konoha too. Ino and Tenten were lusting over him too much and Seal got pissed. Meanwhile, Team 8 witnesses Gaara mercilessly kill a team of Omegakure genin. Although Gaara prepares to turn his attention to Team 8, who is hiding behind the bushes, his siblings persuade him to leave them alone. After leaving Team 8 behind, Gaara's team found Rimuru, who just returned from the meeting with Guy, and decided to cook food for himself. When Gaara saw Rimuru having a picnic before they could do anything, Ranga jumped out of the tower and sat next to Rimuru. Gaara. What are you doing here? But as soon as he said that, they heard the sound of a big tree falling. Velzard and Velgrand joined by cutting a piece of a log from the tree and sat next to him, and started to look at him as he was busy cooking. Rimuru. Hello there Gaara, how was your day? Want to eat something? Gaara, hearing the offer, was confused by this turn of events but decided to join the group picnic. Tamari and Konkoro also smelled the food and also joined in. Rimuru poured them some soup and gave them to eat. The moment the Gaara team put food in their mouth, they were awestruck because of the taste and smell of the food. It was truly divine, which is even healing their fatigue of traveling in the forest of death. Tamari was blushing while she was looking at Rimuru. Tamari. So he is not only strong, beautiful, and smart, but he can even cook. He is truly a perfect man. Velgrand. So have you two found the 2 scrolls or not? Konkoro. Of course we did, and we went inside the tower after we finished our second soup. Velzard. You 3 are fast. You broke the previous record of the fastest completion of a forest of death. Gaara. Have you found your scroll? Rimuru. Well, that's a secret, you will find out soon, so go inside and get a good rest. So following Rimuru advice, Gaara's team entered the tower. The Jonin then informed Gaara's team that they had passed the second phase of the chunin exam. He further congratulated them as they had shattered the record for reaching the tower, reaching their destination in about an hour and a half, and Gaara did not have so much as a speck of dirt on his clothes. Later they found out they were the second fastest team to come to this place. And the first team is Team 666, i.e. Rimuru Uzumaki's team. Gaara. So that's why he didn't want to tell us. Back to Team 7. In need of a second scroll, a recently awakened Naruto contemplated forging a new scroll, although he would first need to read the original one that they already had. Before he could do so, Kabuto arrived to stop him, stating that those who read the scroll were rendered unconscious until the exam's end, and that a rival team had tried to open their scroll and had suffered this fate. Kabuto explained that he got separated from his teammates, so he helped and accompanied Team 7 to the tower at the center of the forest. Along the way, the group encountered a disorienting genjutsu set by the teammates of the AIM genin that Sasuke had earlier defeated. By the time they realized that they were not getting any closer to the center of the forest, it was too late, as they were attacked by several clones. The team realizes soon enough that the clones are not physical. They are another genjutsu. To draw out the assailants, Naruto disguises several of his shadow clones as his teammates and fights the enemy clones all night. When Team Oboro believes that the entire team is exhausted from combat, Kabuto, Sakura, and Sasuke corner them. Sasuke orders Naruto to take a break, as he had used a lot of chakras and should be unable to move. However, Naruto rushes forward and punches all three of the AIM genin, surprising Sasuke, Kabuto, and Sakura, with Kabuto realizing that Naruto's chakra levels must be exceedingly high to still be able to fight after pulling off a less than multiple shadow clone technique greater than along with a less than transformation technique greater than. After a brief struggle, Naruto knocks out the enemies and takes their scroll, at which point they head to the tower and meet with Kabuto's team. Unknown to Naruto and his friends, Kabuto is revealed to be a spy from Otogakure, Sound Village, and submits all of the data he gathered on them to his master, Orochimaru. Kabuto further tells Orochimaru that he couldn't find any data on persons named Rimuru, Velzard, and Velgrand except their family name that is Uzumaki. Team 7 opens its scrolls inside the tower, summoning Iruka to inform them that they made it in time. He observes their growth and then allows them to enter the main room, where they meet with the other passing teams. Team 10, Team 8, Team Guy, the three Sand siblings, Team Kabuto, and Team Rimuru. The third Hokage briefly speaks about the exams and congratulates Team Rimuru for completing Forest of Death within half an hour and leaves Hayate Gecko in charge.